My colleague Shreya is standing right outside the Enforcement Directorate house. Shreya, we also saw how at the protest that took place at Jantar Mantar yesterday, there were close to 6 to 7 opposition party leaders from 6 to 7 opposition parties who had joined K. Kavitha in a protest. Even though the protest was for the Women's Reservation Bill, still, K. Kavitha has managed to rally at least a few of the opposition parties together, and the question many leaders, opposition party leaders are now asking is the fact as to why only these agencies, ED and CBI, is knocking on the door of only opposition leaders. That's also something that these leaders are now asking.
Well, yes, yesterday that entire protest that was pulled off by K. Kavitha for the Women Reservation Bill, it looked like a semi-formation of the opposition unity. And obviously, at a time when we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is in jail, there's a summon for Tejasvi Yadav by the Central Bureau of Investigation. The ED had made some recoveries from the South Delhi residence linked to Lalu Prasad Yadav. And now, when K. Kavitha is inside the ED office, there has been a heat on the opposition leaders. And that's the reason we see that they're coming forward and saying that this is nothing but an attack on the opposition when the Lok Sabha elections are also nearing. However, the agency continues to say that this is strictly pertaining to how the investigation moves forward. And as we know that last year, the CBI had filed and then subsequently ED had also opened an PMLA case in the Delhi liquor policy scam, and now it's being investigated. On one hand, Manish Sisodia is already in the custody of the ED for 7 days, which was granted yesterday. K. Kavitha is now being questioned. To importantly also point out one fact, the ED had alleged that the South Group cartel alone had paid kickbacks to the tune of 100 crores to Aam Aadmi Party leaders. That's also something that will be investigated, questioned to K. Kavitha as she faces the team of the Enforcement Directorate. How many times did she have direct meetings with Aam Aadmi Party leaders, whether there were directly any involvement? Because remember, what has been alleged that people like Arun Pillai, Abhishek Boinpalli, they were responsible in coordinating and making meetings and arrangements in Delhi when the liquor policy was being framed. We are already at a time when we know that the investigation by the agencies say that there was direct involvement of private persons in influencing the liquor policy in a way that they would receive benefits, for which they had given kickbacks to the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, and that's exactly the case that's being now investigated by the agencies. K. Kavitha continues to face the heat, even at a time the opposition cries that this is nothing but a witch hunt.
Right, Shreya. So, definitely the Enforcement Directorate at the moment is talking about the fact that these kind of arrests and the summons that are being sent are not whimsical summons that the agencies are sending. They do have proof because of which they are now summoning all these leaders. Those visuals that you see on your screens, let me break them down for you. The first visual is of K. Kavitha leaving the house of her father, KCR, from the national capital. Supporters, there was a sea of supporters right outside the house of KCR showing their support to K. Kavitha. The middle screen is of the supporters, raising slogans in favor of K. Kavitha and raising slogans in favor of KCR and showing K. Kavitha that they are standing with her. And the third visual is of K. Kavitha entering the Enforcement Directorate office. We are expecting the questioning to begin shortly. Enforcement Directorate sources have told India Today they have proper money trail, and they also know about the kind of money which was being siphoned off, the money which was being given as bribe to various officers to make the changes in the Delhi liquor policy. The liquor policy which was later scrapped, and the government in Delhi had to go back to the old liquor policy. Manish Sisodia is already in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate, and after Manish Sisodia, it is now the turn of K. Kavitha to be questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. My colleague Shreya, who's right outside the Enforcement Directorate office. Shreya, in how much time do you expect the questioning to begin? And do you think that this, this questioning will be a long questioning?
Well, in all likelihood, this will be a long questioning for K. Kavitha, because this is the first time that she's appearing before the Enforcement Directorate, and we'll not be just seeing a linear questioning. There'll also be a confrontation that in all likelihood she will be facing with Arun Pillai, who's also recently arrested, as we've been sharing with our viewers. Now, there are particular questions that the ED would obviously put forward before her, which includes her direct role in manipulating the liquor policy, and also in the formation of the South Group. cartel of that is actually being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. If to again tell our viewers that the main person who is alleged by the ED is Arun Pillai, who's being said as one of the main men of K. Kavitha. He was at the forefront in creating the entire South Group cartel, which also included people like Abhishek Boinpalli, Buchi Babu, and these are people who've already been questioned by the CBI. They were also arrested by the CBI, but now it's the ED who's actually breaking their move forward in the South Group cartel. And with the arrest of Arun Pillai, we can only say that trouble is mounting for K. Kavitha as she faces the officials today inside the Enforcement Directorate. One of the big allegations, as I had mentioned earlier, which was made by the ED, is that at least 100 crore rupees worth kickbacks were made by the South Group to the Aam Aadmi Party leaders in order to manipulate the policy in a way that would favor the private person in the business of liquor.
Right, Shreya.